I'm sailing away. Set an open course. I don't know the rest of the song.
I don't know the words.
So the story goes, and I tried, oh Lord, I tried to carry on. Dun, 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 dun.
Come sail away, come sail away. It's that song. It's that song.
Yes.
Is that by Kansas?
Styx.
Oh.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there is Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with the 90s. You can also find the show on YouTube every Monday at youtube.com/@namely90s. And if you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/namely90s, also with the 90s, and get signed up for one of our support levels. Holy crap. What?
Yeah, I'm really killing it on our final episode.
Yeah. Holy crap, dude.
Our final episode of the season.
Yeah. 120. Well, okay. 120 regular episodes featuring a day and year, a month and year.
Yeah.
In the 1990s.
I think technically this is our 150th episode.
I know, but you know how it took me this is embarrassing. Mm-hmm. When you first explained why it was 120 episodes, it took me a while to understand what you were saying. And now I'm like, 10 years times 12 months in each year is 120 episodes. And this is number 120.
Yes. So if you remember correctly, this year we've added in some specials into our episode count. It's kind of once a month since February. Just so that we could end in December on this episode. Then on Wednesday, we start the 12 Days of Christmas specials. So we will have 12 days of daily specials featuring other guest podcasts talking about 90s episodes of Christmas TV. Nope, other way around. Christmas episodes, holiday episodes of 90s television.
Yes.
All the way through the first. And then because the calendar is cruel to me this year, on January 2nd, we start season 2 of Namely 90s.
Woo! Season 2.
No break for us. We'll be retooling the show, and we've finally hashed it out. Just this week, I believe, possibly last week, of what's going to be in season 2. It's still going to be 90s goodness. It's still going to be two childhood friends chit-chatting about the 90s.
But in a shocking turn of events, I'm going to do research.
Yes. And we'll see how long that lasts.
Okay. Well, I only do it
once a month, unless you volunteer to do stuff on the variety episodes.
Yeah, but this is good. I'm excited. We've got some good stuff coming up in January in addition to the holiday special.
Yes.
So,
we will have. I don't know. Should we explain it now? Should we wait? Season 2 will have 2 different format shows, and we'll switch off weekly.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. We'll see what you like and tweak from there. But hopefully, we stay a weekly podcast and. Just a nice way to sit back, relax, and remember the decade that weaned us.
I feel like it's like a badge of honor that we've done every week for
right. It's
2.5 years.
If this was an Xbox, there would be like an achievement
happening right now. That's pretty amazing. Like, we're going to release more episodes in the next 3 weeks than most podcasts ever get up to, honestly, with how many new podcasts start and end and all that. So,
I mean, technically, if this is episode 133, we've done 24 specials. So that's 157. This is episode 157.
It's crazy.
Well, technically 158 because we had our BL. Wow,
BLM.
So I'm dyslexic now.
Yes, that's what it is.
A BLM episode that was also not numbered. We did that pretty early on because we started right before all that went down. Yeah. I think that's
I keep seeing these posts from someone that I know on Facebook about like wild horses, and she keeps talking about the BLM, and I'm like, wait, what does BLM have to do with wild horses? Yeah, it means Bureau of Labor Management. No, Bureau of Land Management. Sorry, and they deal with wild horses.
Wild horses.
Wild Horses is a country song.
It's a Rolling Stone song.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, but there's also a country song.
Is it a cover of the Rolling Stones song?
Oh boy. Now I gotta look this up. Hold on. You continue.
Because as we've learned over the last 2.5 years,
Wild Horses sounds like it should be a country song, to be fair.
Of course, but the Stones kind of had that era where it was like a little folksy. I think that was off of this was Maggie May.
That was not the same as the Rolling Stones song.
Okay, just checking. But yeah, we're gonna be doing deeper dives. We haven't settled on a name yet, but which Andrew's referring to as actually doing research on something. Just undermining 120 episodes of outlines for the last 133 episodes. But at the same time, it is a deep dive. Andrews is really excited about his episode. Unfortunately, the episode that's coming out on the 2nd will be our variety show, and
it'll have a variety of things in it. Imagine that.
Exactly, old segments made new. We
new
also,
segments made old.
Yes, exactly. We're also, we have, if you can guess the bit that we're doing, or I don't know, Andrew doesn't want to disclose how we're getting our topics, so I won't. But if you have something you want us to talk about, either a deep dive or on our variety shows, let us know on social media, most likely not Twitter, because that'll be dead.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But, while Twitter still exists, you could throw it on our YouTube page, comments, interact with us somehow.
Yeah. Well, the hope is that we will continue to provide valuable content.
Yeah. And maybe even grow.
Yeah. I mean, we've been sort of an inch deep and a mile wide.
Yeah, and
now
to be
it's
fair,
to go a mile deep and an inch. Well,
I haven't been pushing that hard on the socials. I just do our.
I just meant as far as like our subject matter.
Oh yeah, but I'm sure a survey is interesting to some people.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
No, the survey is what we currently do. Survey is wide, in depth.
Right, I'm seriously. I thought you were going to send out a survey.
Oh. That requires work.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
Remember how many people responded to our season or our 12 Days of Christmas episode survey?
We took the 30,000 foot view.
Yes.
And now we're going to get deeper in some of these things sometimes.
Yes. Andrew just wants to get balls deep into the 90s.
Yeah, so deep. Anyway, that's gross. Anything else on that?
So the last 2 episodes, it was 1990 and 91, and yet somehow had more stuff than this episode.
I'm kind of excited for, in a way, I'm a little excited for this format to be over because sometimes you're just at the mercy of the month and year,
Yeah, I mean, I usually find something to talk about, but it's often that you are left. And to be fair, it's also because it's my slanted view, not racist view at the 90s, because I know kind of what Andrew likes, but at the same time, like, it's possible that I've skipped over some stuff and omitted things.
I don't like much.
That's also true.
But at the same time, now there's like leeway. You're not stuck
trying to give
with
you credit.
I know, but you're not stuck with a time frame. You can kind of choose what things you want to talk about. It's cool.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, we kind of jumped around in this last few months just to get it all in, balls deep. And like I was looking at our little page on iTunes or Spotify or whatever. I'm like, why is the April episode in between an October and November episode? But that's because we had to jump around since I think June this year. Yeah, after the 2-year special, just to get all the episodes in. And if we somehow miscounted and have already done December 1995, let us know.
Well, we're doing it again. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm also excited to get this done so we can have a couple weeks off and then get back to it.
Oh, yeah. Get back to it. Shall we get into
it? Sure, let's do it. So, for the last time, crazy enough, why don't you tell us and the listener what was going on in December of 1995?
Travel back with me, listeners, if you will, to December 1995. On the 7th, the Grateful Dead break up after the death of founding member Jerry Garcia.
I'll be honest, I never knew who Jerry Garcia was, which is kind of embarrassing. I only know of it from the Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavor, Jerry Garcia.
I mean, I knew of the Grateful Dead and I knew Jerry Garcia, but
yeah, I don't really get the Grateful Dead. It's weird, and there's like Deadheads and.
There are Deadheads. One of my friends, she's
you're in your late 60s.
Well, her dad's a Deadhead, so she got into it because they could connect over music.
The opposite of what you would expect.
Well, so yeah, but I got her a live album for Christmas one year and listened to it, and it's pretty good. I would not personally seek out.
What would you call the genre?
Stoner rock. Stoner classic rock, stoner folk rock, classic rock.
I feel like the Grateful Dead are not
like hippie rock.
Yeah, they're not in the same category as like the Eagles, you know.
Yes, I would.
But they're still considered classic rock in a way.
Yeah, I mean they rip as hard, if not harder, than the Eagles when they want to.
No, but I just feel like it's a lot of
is different.
Like 6-minute keyboard solos, like guitar solos, druggy solos.
Hotel California.
Yeah, but it's a great song. No one's like, oh yeah, that great 6.5-minute song by the Grateful Dead that everyone knows. No. I actually went back and listened to Hotel California because I accidentally listened to a bad cover of it.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, oh my God, I have to listen to the real version.
Oh yeah.
What an epic song.
I made that mistake today. I was like, I was cooking soup and I was like, Alexa, play I think Yellow Brick Road by Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, because it was stuck in my head because of the new Quantum Mania trailer. And it was like shuffling artists playlists based around Elton John's Yellow Brick Road. And there was like no Elton John, but just like 5 covers of Elton John songs I haven't heard in a long time. And I was like, wow, I would just like to go actually listen to those songs.
Yeah, I think I listened to Hotel California like 4 times in a row.
Oh.
I was also listening to it in Bose earbuds, which are very good.
I was about to say, were you high?
No. I think I was cooking dinner.
It's all like, listen to Hotel California enough, it's almost like you've listened to the Grateful Dead.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But
that should have been one of our topics for the episode. On the 7th, the Galileo probe enters Jupiter's atmosphere.
You should have used Galileo probe penetrates Jupiter.
On the 7th, the Galileo probe goes balls deep into Jupiter's atmosphere.
My brother was talking, we were watching football a while back, and he was like, He's talking about how the commentators always like to talk about penetration. Like, oh, the team needs to do is get a lot more penetration. You're like, thanks, Chris Collinsworth. Stop saying that word.
Are they trolling us or not? On the 11th, The Today Show on NBC becomes the highest rated morning show and remains that until 2012. What show did you watch in the morning, Andrew?
Good Morning America.
Yeah, just thought I would throw that fact out.
What's the one that got with Matt Lauer? That was CBS.
No, that was The Today Show on NBC.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he Matt Lauered himself.
Yeah. That's probably around 2012. On the 25th, Dean Martin dies of throat cancer at 78. Do you know who Dean Martin is?
Yeah, of course. The Rat Pack.
Yeah.
I wonder how he got throat cancer. That's so strange. Probably a lifetime of smoking cigarettes and drinking brown liquor. Still,
That's
ripped
true.
to the max.
Probably
He also
cigarettes.
probably a horrible racist, but you know.
Sammy Davis Jr. was in the Rat Pack.
Yeah.
On the 27th, Timothy Chalamet is born. Do you know who? It's just such either it's French or super pretentious.
Is he in that weird French movie I was referring to earlier today?
Probably.
And I wanted to explain that
Dune.
to you.
Okay.
So, because you don't
do you
watch.
want to do the background first for?
Well, you don't watch
listeners?
Facebook videos much.
No, because I don't use Facebook.
So you scroll through Facebook on the video section, and usually it's like, for me, it's like car detailing, that black guy who eats food at drive-thrus and like takes videos of it, who's really funny. Apparently Mr. Beast is on there constantly just paying people to do random stuff. But you'll get these occasional ones where it's like a really weird, like oddly stretched. It's not stretched. It's like it's like taking a movie and putting it down into like that square video ratio. So it kind of like compresses everything. Mm-hmm. And they show various scenes from the movie, but I think it's like it's someone from India trying to like caption it. And so they don't ever tell you what the movie is. So this one, I'm watching this thing and it's like this really interesting looking movie where this kid throws a stick at his friend and then his friend falls, hits his head on a rock and dies. And then the kid pushes his friend into like a crevasse or whatever in the forest and then just goes home and acts like nothing happened. But they're like calling the kid Jack and they're saying that like there's an investigation by the FBI, but you can tell it's like a French village and there's like clearly a European police official and they keep saying FBI. And come to find out it's this French movie and like the character's name isn't even Jack. But I went on the internet and figured out which movie it was. And that's how I got into the Letterboxd page where someone said in their review, this story would be a lot more powerful if it were true. And I was like, what?
Which could be said of any movie or work of fiction.
Yeah. Like, what? You're an idiot. Anyway, it looked like a bad movie. It got like 4 stars on Letterboxd, 3.5.
Oh, isn't
how that works.
Isn't there a horror movie that's like that too?
No, it's kind of a thriller.
Okay.
So like the dog dies and he kills his friend and then a storm hits or something. And I actually don't know if the movie's in English or not. That's one thing that's kind of confusing.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah. Don't watch it. Anyway, stay off Facebook. It's stupid.
That I can agree with.
That's so meta.
On the
literally. Not literally.
31st, Andrew gets stabbed in the face from time traveling Brandon for that meta joke. The final episode of Calvin and Hobbes is published. Were you a Calvin and Hobbes fan?
No.
Really?
Nope.
Garfield. I knew you liked Garfield.
I do like Jim Davis.
I liked Calvin and Hobbes too. That was the kid and his imaginary tiger. But then people have him like peeing on the sun on as a decal on the back of their truck.
Yeah, anyone who has any decal of anyone peeing on anything on their truck needs to go away.
Mm-hmm. TV premiering or ending December 1995. On the 9th, we have premiering Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, the animated series on CBS.
Do not go in there.
Do not go. Yes. Or go watch. Do not go watch that. Ending on the 22nd, we have Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? That wasn't bad. Link can do it better. Nope. His name's Chase Keys now. God damn it. Gonna have to edit that one out.
Well, yeah. Mark that one down.
45. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I feel like now you just put low jack on this broad. I never told you about. Did I ever tell you about the other day I was at work? And I'm talking to this guy. He's there with his dog, and we're talking about the dog. And I'm asking him questions, and he's like, normally my wife does this kind of stuff, but she's abroad. And I was like, I paused, and my face kind of fell. And he looked at me and he goes, out of the country. Oh, I clipped on that one. Sorry. You'll have to.
That's fine. That's good.
Yeah. Out of the country.
Yeah.
My face returned back to normal.
Anyway. That's pretty good. In the box office, December 1995. On the 8th, we have Father of the Bride, Part 2. Weird enough, we just talked about that first one last episode.
But this is not the one with Anthony Cherry Garcia. Andy Cherry Garcia. That was the more recent one.
Yes, that was. This was still a Steve Martin. I wanted to say Chevy Chase, but I meant Martin Short. Didn't even say it wrong.
Did Harrison Ford and Chevy Chase ever do a movie together? Because that would have been funny.
I think they would have killed each other.
Ford versus Chevy. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for spelling that one out. Would not have. On the 15th, do you think Harrison Ford ever eats at a Chevy's?
So I'm going to have to get a Dodge after making that joke.
Welcome to the final episode of Namely 90s. On the 15th, Jumanji. On the 22nd, Balto, dog movie. So
yeah,
you
dogs.
know Andrew loves it. Hates it. On the 22nd, Grumpier Old Men. Also on the 22nd, Tom and Huck, starring Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Rachel Lee Cook as
Rachel Lee Cook.
Yes. And for the fourth movie on the 22nd, Waiting to Exhale. And finally on the 29th, we have 12 Monkeys and Mr. Holland's Opus.
I love a good opus.
I don't have a clever retort for that. Do you want to explain yourself?
No.
You just love a good opus.
Yeah.
Number 1 in the Billboard charts for December 1995. From the beginning of the month out into March of 1996 is One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men. Continuing on for third week of December 1995. At number 2, we have Exhale, Shoop Shoop by Whitney Houston. Number 4, we have Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio, Rip to the Max. Number 5, Fantasy. Number 4 is Gangsta's Paradise. Number 5 is Fantasy by Mariah Carey. I like that one. Number 7 is I Got ID by Pearl Jam. Number 8 is Name by the Goo Goo Dolls. Number 10 is Breakfast at Tiffany's by Deep Blue Something.
I like that song.
Balls Deep Blue Something.
Something a theme developing.
Number 16, One of Us by Joan Osborne. Number 17, It's a Beautiful Life by Ace of Base. Number 19.
Is One of Us that song, What If God Was One of Us, or is that a different one?
That is the song, What If God Was One of Us. Yes. Number 16.
Ugh.
Yeah. Number 19, As I Lay Me Down by Sophie B. Hawkins. One of my favorites, too. Number
Come
20,
Inside My Jungle Book. I think she says that.
No, that's the other one. That's
you're right.
Yeah. That's the one that we did an episode on. But this is the better song. But you're thinking of that one song, which
Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover, which was 1992.
Damn, I wish I was your lover. I thought it was the same album. I prefer As I Lay Me Down. Number 20 is Only Wanna Be With You by Hootie and the Blowfish.
Good song.
Number 21 is Carnival by Natalie Merchant. Number 22 is Kiss from a Rose by CL.
On the Gray.
And number 24 is Roll to Me by Delamitri.
Gosh, man. I feel like I'm back in 1995 listening to Star 101.5 with Ken and Allen in the mornings.
Well, as always,
you can
find these in the episode description under a Spotify playlist if you want to hear all these tracks. Now let's toss across the pond to our friends Gaz and Dange of the Insanely Dangerous Retro Pod Show for the UK headlines for December 1995. Take it away, Dange.
Good evening. Here are your headlines for the UK in December 1995. Father of the Bride 2 is released in the UK cinemas. The Earth Song is the UK Christmas #1. And the final episode of Keeping Up Appearances is broadcast on BBC One.
From here, I can pick up the fresh bouquet of 90s reviews and trivia, or perhaps it's a bucket load of nostalgia-based disappointment. Who knows? What about us, though? What about all the things that you said was yours and mine? Well, we don't own it. We're just dedicated caretakers of the past, nurturing and loving it like it were our own, until some Randy George Newburn-esque know-it-all sweeps it off his feet and takes it away from us. Merry Christmas to our retro brethren and all your fans across the globe, from Gaz, Dange, Producer Buddy, and all the Insaniacs and Dangerheads that you can shake a hit sticks at.
Thank you guys for that brilliant expression of self, and thank you for those headlines, Dange. If you like your retro with an equal helping of 80s to wash down the 90s, check out the Insanely Dangerous Retro Pod Show on your platform of choice. And follow up with those UK headlines on this Thursday's episode. You'll even get to catch a segment we host called Quotely 90s, where Andrew and I quiz the boys on a quote from a piece of pop culture relevant to our next episode.
And now let's go to Brandon for the Namely 90s Minute.
Welcome back to our mid-episode break, Namely 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of I Want to Dance with Somebody, we're looking back at Whitney Houston's acting debut in The Bodyguard. The Bodyguard is a 1992 romantic drama thriller written by a co-writer of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, originally meant to be starring the original Thomas Crown Affair and the lead singer of the Supremes back in the 70s, but ultimately starred Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and the Preacher's Wife, after a decade and a half of development hell. The story revolves around an Academy Award-nominated actress and music superstar who has been receiving death threats from a stalker. Her manager hires Field of Dreams, a former Secret Service agent and current professional bodyguard, after a bomb goes off in her dressing room. The two are at odds as the starlet doesn't appreciate the seriousness of her situation and thinks her bodyguard is too overbearing. Eventually they get flirty and end up sleeping together before Bull Durham calls it off because it compromises his ability to keep her safe. She doesn't take it well and begins defying his safety measures again, and then flirts with a former colleague of his at a party. When the stalker gives her a frightening call, she and her family pack up and head to the lakefront cabin in the mountains where they thought they'd be safe, but Dances with Wolves barely saves her son from an exploding boat. That night, while in a drunken stupor, her sister admits to hiring a hitman to kill the starlet, but doesn't know who they are and that they are unrelated to the stalker. At that moment, the hitman breaks into the house and kills the sister and escapes into the woods, with the bodyguard in tow, but manages to escape. Also, the stalker was apprehended at the time back in town. After the funeral is the Academy Awards, where she wins Best Actress, and as she's giving her acceptance speech, the hitman, who turns out to be Waterworld's former colleague that Waiting to Exhale had flirted with at that party that one time, attempts to shoot her with a camera gun, but the bodyguard jumps in front of her to take the bullet. Then he 007 stabilizes and shoots the assassin dead. After the bodyguard recovers from the shooting, he bids farewell to his charge at the airport, but she makes a whole ass plane stop so she can run back to him and kiss him, even though they'll never work out. Then the movie ends with him on a new assignment while she sings Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You, forever making us forget Dolly ever sang it herself. And that's The Bodyguard in a Namely 90s Minute. More or less.
And now back to the show.
Anywhere you want to go? Kind of waded through the background information.
Well, it's a rough episode for me. Looks like Jumanji is the only real major thing to go through. Let me see if there's anything else to talk about really quick.
Yeah,
no, even the events are pretty minor.
Yeah. Some balls deep penetration on Jupiter. Jerry Garcia died. Timothy Chalamet was born.
Yep. Is he Timothy? He's an American actor.
I can't
but
be
that
right.
is actually his name.
Yes, that's the correct spelling. I wasn't being a douche.
Oh. Well, I mean, kidding.
In spelling it correctly.
Yeah, well, I guess we can talk about Jumanji, which is a movie that was a thing.
It was. Jumanji was a 1995 American fantasy action adventure film. So Andrew wouldn't like it because it was fantasy. Starring Robin Williams, Kirsten Dunst, David Alan Grier, Bonnie Hunt, and it centers on a supernatural board game that releases jungle-based hazards upon its players with every turn they take. As a boy in 1969, I see what they did there. Alan Parrish became trapped inside the game itself while playing with his friend Sarah Whittle, and they'd only rolled twice at that point in the movie. Well, technically 3 times because Sarah had to roll again, I think. Or no, Alan had to roll again. One of them had to roll again. 26 years later, siblings Judy and Peter, or maybe it was Peter that had to roll again. 26 years later, siblings Judy and Peter Shepard find the game abandoned in the house that they're living in. They begin, or was it buried at the beach? They begin playing and then unwittingly release the now adult Alan. After tracking down Sarah, the quartet resolved to finish the game in order to reverse all of the destruction it has caused. It was released to mixed reviews, but was a box office success, grossing $263 million worldwide on a budget of $65 million. It was the 10th highest grossing film of 95, and it spawned an animated television series that no one saw for 3 years, 96 and 99. Wow.
Impressive.
It was followed by a related film called Zathura, a space adventure in 2005. Zathura. Remember that one? That was not a good one.
No, I didn't actually see that.
I don't remember if I've actually seen it or not, but it was just, yeah. And 2 indirect sequels, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle in 2017, and Jumanji, The Next Level, which is a direct sequel to Welcome to the Jungle, with Columbia Pictures taking over distribution for all subsequent films. Yeah. Exciting. Do you remember Jumanji?
I remember it sort of vaguely.
Uh-huh.
Like I knew obviously it had Robin Williams in it.
Yes.
Rip to the max.
I had to watch
988.
because we did this for our Quote 90s on the Insanely Dangerous Retro Pod show last week.
Right.
And so I had to watch the clip of Bonnie Hunt doing the yeah. And I also just watched the clip where Alan gets trapped in the board game to begin with. Just because I kept wanting to watch, like, having seen the Bonnie Hunt scene, I'm like, I want to keep watching because, like, Robin Williams was such a good actor, and like, I don't think I praised him enough last week when we talked about Hook or whatever week that was, because I also watched the clip of him flying around as Peter Pan in Hook, and it's just like the joy that he brings to that character, the joy, like the childlike wonder that he brings to the kid that got sucked into the board game and then had to survive on his own for years, 30 years. In
Peter Pan, though, I guess you could call him a bird on a wire.
Yeah, I mean,
his name is Robin, type of bird. A lot of wires.
It was, yes. I actually think, other than the bad CG, it looked really good for the time. And it also made me want to watch Hook. Robin Williams makes you want to watch things. True. Like, but like I would like to go back and just watch this version of Jumanji. I haven't watched it. I might have been on TV at some point in the last few years or last 5 years, and I was like, I might as well just watch it. But it's just so good. His acting in this is so good. There's Kirsten Dunst is in it. Bonnie Hunt does a good job. The practical effects are there.
Sure. I saw the new one.
Tell us about the new one.
The new one stars Dwayne Johnson.
Yes.
Jack Black.
Yes.
For some reason, one of
Kevin.
the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, you saw the newest one.
The second newest one.
Oh.
Welcome to the Jungle.
Welcome to the Jungle.
Kevin Hart.
Mm-hmm.
Karen Gillan.
Yeah. Amy Pond from Doctor Who. Or Nebula from the MCU, Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it, actually. I didn't think I would.
Yeah, I think I saw that on a plane or something. Or I was like in a hotel and I was like, this is the only thing on. I might as well watch it. And it made me think, hey, I should watch the next one, which...
No, I did not watch the second one.
The second one wasn't bad either. It wasn't... I'm just going to put it out there. They're not as good as the original.
No, probably not. What is?
Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Okay, well, you get my point, though.
Yeah, rarely does a sequel do better than the original, especially when they try to reboot it. But there are links in the new series to the original movie.
Yeah.
The Easter eggs that they throw in.
But it was like a video game in the Welcome to the Jungle. It was a video game.
It was, but it evolved from the board game.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Like you see the board game, the kids are like, "Oh, this is dumb." Leave it next to in television, and then it turns into a video game console.
No, but it was still it was an updated take.
Yes. Was it a better take?
No.
Okay.
I doubt it. But I haven't seen it in so long that it's hard for me to really intelligently speak on it, you know?
That's fair. Like, I haven't watched the rest of the movie. The CG's... I don't think the CG holds up that well.
I remember it being kind of like... As a kid, I remember it being like lightly scary.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a children's horror film for sure. Which they don't really do a good job with in Jumanji or...
No, there's no element of that whatsoever.
Yeah, it's more of just a fun slapstick romp through the jungle with some heart. Whereas this is a scary movie
Kevin Hart.
with some heart as well.
Have you seen the commercial where Catherine O'Hara is like calling out for Kevin? But then it's Kevin Hart and it's like a credit card commercial?
No, I haven't.
But it's like a riff on the Home Alone stuff.
Right.
But instead of Kevin McAllister, it's Kevin Hart.
Have you seen the meme? I love the time of year where people realize that the mom from Schitt's Creek is Kevin's mom.
I know, it's so weird. That lady aged a lot.
I was going to say hadn't aged much.
She looks a lot different to me.
In Schitt's Creek, well, yeah, gray hair is going to make you look different, but...
I mean, it's okay to age. She got a lot older. Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying she just does not look the same.
Do you remember the ending to Jumanji? The original?
I actually don't.
So they beat the game or whatever, and then the game sucks all of the jungle elements back into the board, and then erases all of the time between when Robin Williams and Bonnie Hunt's characters lived.
Oh, so basically it goes back to when the first guy got stuck in the game.
Yes.
But then doesn't it have like a butterfly effect sort of situation?
It does. It changes the future because the Alan's parents, Robin Williams' character's parents, owned like a shoe factory. He managed to have a better relationship with his father, so then he took over the factory, and then he marries Bonnie Hunt's character, I think, and
it's all too much.
Well, so the thing is, the thing I forgot is that if I remember correctly, Kirsten Dunst's character, like the kids in the present day, like they're recently orphaned, aren't they?
I don't know.
Because they're living with their aunt, if I remember correctly. But then they somehow butterfly affected the fact that the kids now, their parents are alive in the new timeline, but they meet them anyways. And then somehow they remember everything. That is my recollection of the ending of Jumanji, which is kind of messed up, but kind of cool.
Okay.
For being a children's horror film. Let me see. In the alternate version of the present, Alan and Sarah are married and expecting their first child. Alan's parents are still alive. He's now successfully running a family business. They meet Judy and Peter and their parents during a Christmas party, where Alan offers their dad a job and convinces them to cancel their upcoming ski trip. So they like die in a ski trip, if I remember correctly. Yeah, their parents died in an accident on a ski trip in Canada the winter before.
Sad.
Yeah. And then two girls hear drum beats while walking on the beach because that's where they buried the Jumanji board game. You can hear the drum beats.
Currently?
Yes. Do you hear the drums?
The game is coming for us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Had I remembered, I would have just put in like low drum beats, just intensifying.
Well, I wish I had more to say about this. I mean, I feel like I should probably try to watch it at some point, but realistically, that's probably not going to happen.
I mean, if we somehow did a deep dive on this, it would be worth watching.
Oh, did they do a version that was in the ocean? Oh no, sorry, you're talking about a deep dive. Okay.
Deep Blue Sea. Yeah, you felt like springtime on this February morning in a courtyard. Birds were singing your praise. I'm still recalling things you said to make me feel all right. I carry them with me today. Now, as I lay me down to sleep, this I pray that you will hold me. God damn it.
Didn't we do this one? I thought we did these lyrics.
No, we did.
No, I know we did that one, but I thought we did this one too.
I don't think we did As I Lay Me Down.
Sophie B. Hawkins.
I think we did Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover. Oh, wait, that was the one.
Yeah. That was the one. Yeah, but I thought we did both.
Sophie B. I don't know. Do you want me to do the whole thing?
No, God, no.
I wonder why I feel so high, though I am not above the sorrow. Heavy-hearted till you call my name. And it sounds like church bells or the whistle of a train on a summer evening. I want to meet you barefoot, barely breathing.
Whoa, creepy.
As I lay, I don't want to make fun of the song because I like this song. Yeah. And Sophie B was one of our early episode,
so early
hits, I guess I would say. Like somehow, Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover turned out to be like, because of the interview. And yeah. Do you remember this third song that like is one of her singles, Right Beside You?
No.
I don't either. Like there's two songs.
Beside you.
There's Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover and As I Lay Me Down.
No, I don't. Those are the two I know of.
The third single was Right Beside You, and it made the UK top 40.
Wow.
Peaked at number 13.
All right.
But yeah, I do not remember that one. But as I probably said 2.5 years ago, there's an episode of Community where Britta is trying to organize a not Susan, is it Susan B? What's a sock hop? No, the dance where girls ask the boys. Is that a Susan B. Anthony? No, it's
Susan B. Anthony, huh?
No, it's yeah, it is Susan B. Anthony dance. What is the dance where girls ask the boys? Sadie Hawkins.
Oh, okay.
So Sadie, like she's trying to organize a the school's organize a Sadie Hawkins dance. As a modern feminist, Britta feels that is sexist, and she wants to organize a Sadie Hawkins dance, or she wants to protest a Sadie Hawkins dance. I don't remember.
I remember it vaguely.
Yeah. Maybe they're having a regular dance. I lost it. It was during the bad season. It was a gas leak. It was very bad. But she confuses. Oh, she was going to counter protest the Sadie Hawkins dance with a Susan B. Anthony dance, but then she confuses Susan B. Anthony with Sophie B. Hawkins, and then she has to stick to her guns and does a Sophie B. Hawkins dance.
Okay.
Do you have anything else for this episode?
No, God, no. Thank God it's over.
Thank God, 120 episodes plus some change. That's it for this week's edition. That's it for season 1.
Season 1 in the books
of Namely 90s. Technically, you have 12 specials coming your way starting Wednesday, every day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You'll be getting a new episode of Namely 90s. Our third annual 12 Days of Christmas specials coming your way to fill that podcasting void for the last 2 week and a half of the month.
You got it.
Yeah. Invite us into your homes. Share us with your family. Go balls deep on Namely 90s content. And
yikes.
Check out the episode description for this week's final supplemental Spotify playlist curated by yours truly. There's a whole slew of playlists on Spotify based off of the stuff that we talked about. Find us on Twitter and Instagram, namely 90s with a 90s, or find our personal Twitter accounts, if you could still use Twitter, at bschwitty and at namely Andrew, and tell us what you want us to talk about in season 2. And if you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/namely90s. Also the 90s, and most likely getting a retooling at the first of the year. So if you want to get in at the support levels that are there currently, do it now. And finally, you can contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Petridge, Farm Remembers, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon. That's Andrew. One final time, thank you for listening to Season 1 of Namely 90s. We'll see you on Wednesday. Listen to the third annual 12 Days of Christmas specials, because we will catch you Wednesday. Come back Wednesday. We love you.
Goodbye.